I'm Paul.
I'm Devin.
Together, we're Dads and Dice, two dads who like to play some games during our free time.
That's right. And today we are actually reviewing the tactical city building tile placement game Barcelona by Board and Dice. Barcelona takes place during 19th century Barcelona, and we are going to be trying to rebuild the city. The city is going to be filled with working class, middle class, and upper class, and you are going to be trying to house them strategically throughout the city. Your turns are going to be comprised of taking two citizens that you've drawn and stacking them together and placing them on intersections. The intersections that you choose are going to dictate the actions that you actually take for that round. They could be allowing you to build roads, to build public buildings, modern easement tiles, cobblestones, moving along on the tram and dropping off passengers, intersections. There's just kind of all kinds of actions that you can take based off of where you place. After you've done your turn and done all your actions, you are then going to be able to build if you have enough citizens to kind of occupy the building in the surrounding intersection. After you've done all that, you'll check the Serta track and see if you've built the city his way and appeased him, or possibly gone against him and move along the Sagrada Familia track. All of this will be different bonuses or multipliers, or just kind of a whole bunch of different ways of scoring points. Every so often you will have a scoring based off how many citizens are filled in the Serta track, and after 3 scorings you will trigger the end of the game.
All of that to say that there is a lot going on in this game, right? For a Euro game, where you're generally going to get a lot of points at the end of games, this does the opposite. Everything that you do, you're going to be gaining points. And honestly, for somebody like me, that just feels good. I really enjoy that about this game. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be moving along that track.
Yeah, there is so much in every single turn. You check scoring, do scoring, and you're just constantly moving. Scores go up into the 200-300s.
400 token.
And it is really fun to do it that way. Instead of building toward, like Paul said, most Euros is, I'm going to build this strategy, and then at the end of the game, here's all my victory points. This one, yes, there is some good amount of in-game scoring, but man, you're just having fun all along the way of, I did this, and this
passing
5
each other
points, and I built
forward.
This, so I get 12, and I'm the first on this row, and I get 5, and you do constantly pass each other, and it is really cool, and I really like that there are so many different paths to victory, and we'll get into kind of the setup, but because of the setup, it just makes so much replayability because you can try different things that line up different ways. And last time I never built any roads, and this time I built all my roads. Or I don't hardly ever do cobblestone, and now I have a lot of cobblestone and a lot of resources. And man, there's just kind of so much you can do in this game.
Yeah, and then even going into a little bit more of how this is slightly different than other Euro games, the theme really ties in very well with everything else, right? Devin had mentioned the Serta track and the Sagrada Familia, and those are based on real life events. Serta wanted kind of open lands, and he wanted everything to be seen, and those are those lower level tiles, right? They don't have as many walls. But then the Sagrada Familia, they just wanted people in there. They just wanted buildings, so you've got more closed off. And so you can choose, kind of going back to what you're saying, there's so many options of what to do. You can choose, I'm going all Sagrada Familia, or I'm going up the Serta track. But it's just really cool how they were able to incorporate the theme into this game.
Yeah, and that going to, you can really choose what you want to do. Every time I play this, that is this feeling I walk away with, was I chose the game I got to play. It is very tactical there. You do have to kind of read the board situation, read where things are. I need to place here because I need to build. But still, you can choose, besides the scoring on the Serta track, you can choose. They have these they're modernism. I think modernism
Yep.
is the term I'll say. The modernism tiles, which are your in-game scoring, you pick the in-game scoring
Yep.
that you want. You pick the weight of that, right? Like,
do you want this to score the 4x or the 1x?
yeah. So, you know what? I'm doing roads, but not a lot. So I'm going to put this one down here. But I'm going heavy into intersections, and so that's going to be my big score. Or I'm building corner spots, and man, I just do feel like I personally have so much control over my own gameplay.
Yeah, so let's go into kind of what our initial thoughts were of the game and then what they are now, right? Because I think those have changed drastically. That first playthrough, we played with just kind of the baseboard. The base game. We didn't do any of the tiles or anything like that. And it really felt like, okay, we're both going to kind of be going for the same actions. Like, this spot is very important. Let's go here. And when you do that, it lines up perfectly with this. So it seemed there was still choice, but it seemed like there was an optimal way to kind of do it. And I think we both kind of walked away from that first playthrough not being overly impressed. But then as we started adding in those tiles, we really realized, oh wow, this game is much deeper than what it seems.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The first time I played it, I was like, okay, it was a Euro. It was a Euro. That
got a bunch of points.
Yeah, that was neat. And then we played it again, and then that made me want to play it again and again, and we've played it several times now, and yes, I keep wanting to go back to it. So Paul mentioned the tiles that you place. That is really the variable setup. While it seems so simple, it is so drastic to how the game is going to play out.
I honestly think it's what makes the game.
I agree. So, because where you place something is going to line up to 2, possibly 3 different actions, every single time you randomize that, and man, it can make one game where public works are the action to go for. You can get gold pretty easy, and you dump it there, and you get these big boost of victory points and the bonuses that those. And then the very next game, it can shift. Those can be on the far end. They can go to maybe a corner spot that's not great, and next thing you know, you do them 1 or 2 times, right? I've had games where I've literally built all my roads. I've scored a lot. I've moved trams, which I had roads and I manipulated. And then I've had some where I built hardly any roads. My tram spots are very weak because I don't have roads to go on. And I went a totally different strategy that way, right? Like I said, sometimes you can just play off your limited resources. You have, I think it's 5 starting open slots. Or sometimes you're really rewarded for cobblestones, and next thing you know, you're holding a lot of coins, and maybe you then decide, I'm going to score coins at the end of the game because they're nothing otherwise. And it's just, my impressions of this game have only gotten better the more that I've actually played it.
Yeah, and every time that you play it, it's going to be a different game, which is something that I very much enjoy, right? You're still going to be playing the same game. It's going to feel like the same game, but your strategy will be completely different. Something else that I really enjoyed about this is the player interaction, right? Again, most Euros are pretty solitaire. You kind of do your own thing. You don't mess with the other ones. This one is, I'm going in this intersection because I know this is your strategy, and every time you go there, you're giving me a cloth, you're giving me a coin, you're doing this. So while you're not really hurting the other player by putting your piece there, they know that they're helping you. And I really like that.
Yeah, and so like Paul said, there is so much player interaction, and we've only honestly played it just the 2 of us at 2. I can see that even being more amplified at the 3, the 4 player, right? Because then you'll have multiple places that you can go build. You'll have multiple interactions with intersections. Citizens will be coming off more frequently, and you'll be able to go back to those spots. And I can just see how all of that works together so well.
So let's talk a little bit about what's in here. And there is a ton of stuff in here. Because again, going back to that, variability and setup and all that, there is a nice little bag for your citizens that you're going to be digging in. There's all your little trams. And actually, when you unbox it, they give you little stickers to put on there. There's all the Modernisma tiles, all of that there. And again, that just adds more to the game. It is a heavy box, so be prepared for that. But they do really well with all of their components, and they did it again this time.
Yeah, and I will say to add on to that, so much in the box, it will take a little bit to set up. This is not a quick setup time game. There's so much randomizing. There's so many components, sorting, shuffling, all of that kind of stuff. Everybody has their own player board they got to set up. So know that going in, that you are getting a ton out of this box, but it's not going to be a quick setup or teardown for that.
And to add on to that, it came up with us where we said, hey, Devin, set it up ahead of time. And you had it set up, and then you're like, oh, I can't do this. I already know exactly what I'm doing. You were already strategizing. So if you play with somebody like that, just be aware that whoever's setting it up, they're going to have an advantage.
Yeah, as soon as I see the board set up, I'm already theorizing my actions.
Yeah.
So that was our little brief review of Barcelona. Honestly, so glad that we kind of...
got it back to the table?
Yeah, got it back to the table after our initial impressions because, man, I've just been enjoying the playthroughs of it. And I honestly can't wait to keep getting it back to the table.
Yeah, if you have only gotten that first playthrough of it, definitely we recommend getting it back because, like I said, I think the game is made with those variable setups. Overall, it's a game that's definitely going to keep coming back, and we enjoyed it.
Yeah, so as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help us, help our channel grow. See you on the next one. Barcelona takes place in the 19th century when it was the most densely populated city and they needed housing for all of these people. I think. Actually, I don't actually know what it is. I made all that up.